Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. So last episode we went and did up a bunch of projects around the world that needed doing to recharge our magic so we could finish terraforming this island, and we have gotten quite a bit done. Now we're only maybe about a third of the way done with the island so far, and well, we are pretty much all the way to the fountain, which still has no water because I still have no buckets. But today I think it's about time we started trying to get some of the trees in, besides these ones that are for houses. Those are going to be a special grow. But the rest of the island needs to be covered in trees because, well, it wouldn't be much of a fairy forest if we didn't now have the forest. We've got the fairies because we've got way too many allays. In fact, we have 100% more allays than I ever wanted to deal with. But since we got the fairies, we might as well add in the forest. So I'm gonna go try and see if I can't control my magic to just grow the plants now. We got it to work for the ground, so why not see if we can't get it to grow the trees? And there we go. That was quite exhausting to do. Because we have several full-grown trees in here. Now I think we'll probably have some even bigger ones, but those are just going to be special just for the town and village part of the forest. So these three are going to be the main trees of the forest. Now it looks like over there we've got a few mushrooms, but this is still very, very sparse. And we still have a lot to go before this is anywhere near a forest. But looks like we've got some mushrooms. Let's check these out. Looks like we got some, I guess, small brown mushrooms. Got some smaller red ones here. And we got a nice big brown one. That one's quite nice. So we'll probably see if we can't grow a few of these in some of the bigger spaces over here and in some of the darker spaces. Now we didn't really get any small plants, so we'll probably have to see about trying to grow a few of those. But I'm gonna focus on this section for now. Probably get a few more trees down here. That way we finish filling out the area around Puck's house and also work on filling in some of the forest bits, because the way this is right now, it feels really empty. Now I know under the mushroom cap we're going to get some shorter trees because there's just not as much light, but I'm quite happy with how this turned out. There's definitely some trees that I haven't seen. The aspens and the sprucey kind of trees there are new, and I kind of like them. This is definitely going to be interesting. The bright green is really weird in those, but those have come along quite nicely. So with that done up, I guess that means it's time for trying to grow some more. And there we go. That was really exhausting, but we now have a whole bunch of mushrooms and smaller trees in here, and I think it looks amazing. I absolutely love how this turned out. Now we've got two different types of smaller trees. We got some oak ones and we got some smaller birch, which could be little shoots of new aspens growing up. I absolutely love how this just kind of filled in and really fleshed out the forest. Now the only thing that's missing is some ground cover. I think what we're going to do is we're going to plant a few warped funguses, brown mushrooms, red mushrooms, azure bluettes, and lilies of the valleys. And I think that'll provide enough variety and ground cover for the forest floor, because we don't really want to put a whole bunch of ferns or grass down here. Instead, we should have a bunch of mushrooms, because we've got all these big mushrooms around here. And bushes wouldn't really look right in this forest with all of the small trees dotted around. So I think that the forest here is full enough without trying to grow a few of those. So no bushes. As much as I want this forest to be nice and full and overgrown looking, I do still want to be able to move around in here. And I think the warp fungus will be a nice tie-in to our giant mushroom up there that serves as Puck's house. And the lily of the valley and the azure bluettes just add a little bit of flowers to this. And both of these flowers are known for thriving in woodlands. The azure bluettes like shade, and the lily of the valleys are actually woodland flowers. So I think that those will work quite well as part of the ground cover. Now, as much as I would love to put, say, something of a different color in here, I think we're pretty well covered with the red and the peel of the mushrooms. We kind of break that up, and we've got enough colors here in the ground as well. And if we decide we want some more colors, we can always plant more flowers, or we can try and get some of these smaller trees in the area to bloom, which could be really interesting. But I think for now, we're just going to stick with what we have for now. We may change things up later, but I want to see how these plants look within the forest before we decide to add any more, because it is pretty lush in here, and I'm quite happy about that. But in order to see that, we are going to have to grow up quite a bit more forest, and that is going to take a while. But for now, we still only have this one section here, and I do love how that looks. Ooh, it's kind of nice being able to see all the stuff in the ground there. But I'm really happy with how full this forest looks now. It definitely feels like an older, more fully grown forest in here. So I think it turned out quite well. So let's see, let's take a look at how this is coming from the air. Oh, wow, that looks really nice. More height here. That looks really nice from up here. I can't wait to see how that looks all the way across the island. Now we still have the rest of the island to do. We still have this whole area in here to finish up. And yes, we have water in the fountain now. I finally got around to crafting up a bucket with that. But we've got a lot of work left to do over here. But I'm going to finish planting up a few of these mushrooms and flowers. And hopefully regain some of my magic, because growing all of these is extremely draining. So, once I've gotten at least this section here finished up, I will be right back. Alright, and there we go. We now have all of the plants in, and I have to say this place looks really, really nice, especially at night. Look, we have plenty of light down here with all of the mushrooms. We've got a nice glow through this entire forest, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. I wonder how this looks in RTX. Very shiny because I still haven't fixed that bug. There we go. That is really nice. We've got a nice glow through the entire forest here. Really gives a kind of otherworldly or magical feel to it. And I love that. This is great. I really like how this turned out. Now, I would try and grow some more forest, but unfortunately, I don't think I've got the magic to be able to do that. So let's actually take a look at what this looks like during the day with RTX on. I haven't quite looked at that. And there we go. That is really nice. Definitely has the right amount of sun and shade and just kind of a whole dappled look through here. I absolutely love how this turned out. But as I was saying, I don't think I've got the magic to really expand this forest anymore right now. So I think instead we're going to go work on these big trees here. Now, got a bit of an idea of what I want to do for those now. So we're just going to need a bunch of oak and a bunch of leaves. So I'm going to go work on building this up. I'll probably get that mushroom built up as well. And hopefully that recharges up my magic a bit. And then I'll be right back. And there we go. We've got a tree in, and we've got a second mushroom. We don't have any windows in this one yet. And as like the other one, we don't have any interior. But we have one tree done. Now, this thing is kind of big. It's still hollow on the inside because I haven't decided to go put in anything quite yet. But we have a tree. And that needs to be a wood block. There we go. Anyway, as I was saying, we have a tree. And that was quite a bit of work, just trying to make sure that we got the trunk to curve right and to get the branches in. I've never done a tree with branches coming off the sides before, but I think that turned out well. But it was a lot of leaves. Got a short flight up there. You can see, oh wow, that's really nice being able to see both sections here. But you can see we've got a very large section of leaves. And this is actually using 6 different leaves. So we've got dark oak, jungle, acacia, birch, azalea, mangrove. And I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's all of them. So this is really interesting. I love how this turned out. I love how the bright green mixes with our more yellow green of the azalea and our more olive green of the birch. And I'm really glad at how this turned out. Now I'm thinking we might put another one over by where our bed is there, just so we've got a nice full thick canopy over this area, which is kind of what I wanted. We might put a few elsewhere on the island. Those won't be for houses and shops and stuff, though they might. You could put in small little paths going through everywhere. But these require quite a bit of oak wood. So, I don't know. But needless to say, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. And I can't wait until we get those trees built up. Because this will just tower over all of them. Because our normal trees are about as tall as where the cap of our mushrooms are. So that'll just provide a nice third layer to our forest. So we'll have our bigger, older trees emerging from the canopy. And we'll have our sprouted little understory of small trees that are still growing. And some of our smaller mushrooms. And then our ground cover will just be all of these mushrooms, which are spreading like crazy. Which I should have seen that coming. And our flowers, which I absolutely love how this has turned out. I'm going through here and I'm thinking, you know what will probably help in this area? A bit of glow lichen, just to add a little bit of ethereal lighting, just a very, very faint glow through the area. Fortunately, I don't have any here, so I guess that means we're gonna have to go find some in our storage. All right, and there we go. I added a little bit of the glow lichen to the forest floor, and I love how that kind of turned out. You can especially see it in the dark spots here where it's just kind of glowing. For some reason, it's not giving it much of a glow in RTX here like I thought it would, but it does still look pretty nice. I also added some on top of the mushroom like I've been talking about doing for a while, but I do like how that turned out. It does add kind of a little more fantasy kind of glow. There's some sort of magical moss or something in here. Without RTX, it just kind of blends in very well with the forest floor. And, well, there's enough light down here anyway to light the whole area. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of a nice little texture thing, but I think it adds quite a bit to the area. But I think with that, it's time for me to go and work on something else for a little bit. So I'm going to go work on a few of the projects I've got scattered about the world, hopefully get a few of those done, and try and get more of this forest grown and more of this area spread out. But with that, but for now, that is going to be it for today. But with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more of what's going to be going on in this area. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.